hearing a lot of people talk about Red Sonja, and I gotta admit, before this movie came on my radar, I didn't know jack about who Red Sonja was. Actually, as I was preparing to watch the movie, or in the middle of watching it, like, once it came to streaming, that's when I learned that apparently she's a Marvel character. Yep, the she-devil with the sword, Marvel Comics. Maybe I heard about it at some point in the past, but I quickly forgot because it just didn't seem like that was the case. But please remind me what her powers are supposed to be again. Anyway, since people were like dogging on this movie, I decided to watch it myself. And I must say, it is the sweetest, well, not really, kind of wholesome, shallow, and forgettable, cute, not low-budget Costco movie I've seen in a while. It's giving like Willow. I don't know. I'll explain what I mean. The movie is kind of bad. Okay, it's like straight up bad. The story and the concept are simple, but good lord, the execution wasn't the best. I don't know if I'd use the word enjoyed. I think I enjoyed it. I think I liked it. Like near the end, I didn't feel like, I was also watching it at like 2.5 speed, so that probably helped a lot, but I think I enjoyed it. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so here's a video that's basically going to showcase why this movie was bad, but why I still enjoyed it, and why this is one of the rare cases where I can kind of sort of like enjoy something that's bad because I've done so in the past with other things. And one of the reasons I'll reveal at the end what made me enjoy it so much. And that's something that I don't even think is canon in the movie. It's just headcanon for me, not knowing anything for the lore for Red Sonja. So for people who don't want to go and research or do work outside of this video, the main concept of Red Sonja is that she's a redhead girl. Yay for redhead representation, finally, outside of like Scarlet Witch and Black Widow and... damn it, it's Marvel. Anyway, we learned that when she was little, her homeland was called Hyrcania, and everything was beautiful, and they all got along, and then something bad happened. Barbarians. So she got bussed down by these barbarians who offed most of her people and made a lot of the children orphans. And she had to flee into the forest nearby, but a lot of the orphans died off one by starvation, and because they're weak. I'm kidding. But seriously, apparently she survived, so she's better than all of them somehow. So now she spends most of her life, or all of her life, as a recluse, and her main goal, the whole movie, the whole motivation, her purpose in life is mapping out the forest and trying to find her people. See, she was separated from her tribe, and as far as she knows, all of them are killed off, but she's just hoping she'll find them. So it's just her and her horse, Vihur, and she's all thanking the goddess for her sacrifice for when she has to hunt and eat meat. Notice she still eats meat. She's also able to catch honey, but we don't see how she does it. And she's eating this, oh god, it looks so freaking good, bro. I don't know what it is about me right now. Like, I've had a hankering for freaking honeycomb. I haven't had honeycomb since, geez, how many years has it been? And that wasn't even the real one. That was the thing in the jar that they sold at Walmart. And just watching her eat it, like, how she's enjoying it. Like, it just, oh my god, it looks so freaking good. I don't even know if that's what it really is, but it looks so good. No bees on her whatsoever. Just no mosquitoes, nothing. Just paradise. Good for you. Look at the peace. So she goes to the pool and still worships the woodland god thing that's kind of like Gaia, but it's called Asherah. And I do like the world building for this movie, even though it does look a bit cheap at times, most of the time. You have these beautiful animals coming by the water, and it kind of looks out of place with her and her horse. Like, the CGI is just weird. Maybe it's just me, but I get it. And keep in mind, what is his face? She looks like Chad from, remember the Clips, Chad? Okay, who plays him again? The woman who's dating, not the woman, the guy who's dating one of the Kardashians. Whatever. Kind of looks like him. I don't know why. But anyway, I like fantasy stuff. I like animals, monsters, creatures, and fantasy lands, all of that. And I also love horses a lot. So it was really nice seeing her have this relationship with Vihur, her gelding, at least I think he's a gelding, and while she's playing footsie with him in the water, and things are getting a little weird between them, like it's about to go someplace that it shouldn't go. Vouch. Sorry.
You can write this down. I want to fuck a woman as a horse.
Whoa. Whoa.
Anyway, so yeah, the little creatures from Pandora interrupt them like, children. Children are present. We shan't watch whatever is going on lest you become
Pregante.
But then they're like, ooh, you slide. And she's like, oh shit, they almost saw us, bro. And even the horse was like moving away, is like, don't touch me, don't touch me. What the fuck are you doing? They're watching us. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at these videos. But yes, once there is bucking shots, I'm sorry. The creatures quickly forget what they saw, and they're scared off by the sound of people hunting them and bucking. Look how the female looks at her. Look at her, how she looks at her. She's like, oh, damn it, we gotta go, but I see you. I know what you were about to do, you nasty bitch. And she's like, shit, I hope those guys really get that thing because I don't want to... Okay, I need to stop. Anyways, they're scared off by these guys on horses, basically poachers, and she's able to hide with her horse in the water. Good lord. And it's awful, and it's kind of like a scene from out of Avatar. The creatures are still alive, the babies kill, they chopped off their horns like they do with white rhinos. And Red Sonja does not like this, because this is disrespectful. And she says, I'm sorry, I feel guilty because I actually secretly was wishing for your death because I knew you were going to tell the whole forest what was going on between me and my horse. But to make it up to you, I'll avenge you. So the stage is set. She tracks down and finds these people. I was going to ask how it's so easy for her to find the guys and not her people, but then again, I guess her people are woodland people like her, so these people are just crashing through the forest. And she sees they're burning everything around them, just like in Avatar. No! How could they?
Well, why do you want to be the horse, Vosh? Because then I'd have a giant dick.
We'll notice that this movie is like a combination of the Avatar Pandora movie, where everything's connected, balanced with nature and all that jazz.
I'm with you now, Sheik. We are mated for life.
Huh. If he splooges in his avatar body, does he also splooge as a human while because he's reacting to what's happening? So both his bodies achieve emission, if you know what I mean? I never thought about that until now. That would be very uncomfortable, because, like, people wake him up and they're like, why are your pants wet, Jade? No reason. No reason at all. Why are you not minding your business? Anyway, here we meet the Emperor Dragan, whatever. He has slaves brought to him. He's a bit of a sociopath. His whole motivation as a villain is looking for the other half of a book that contains knowledge of technology and all the stuff that he can use for his brilliance. You know, enhancing technology in order to make the world a better place. Kind of like an allegory for people learning about science but forgetting about the ties they have with nature and everything needing balance, like chopping down all the trees and killing all the animals, but not replenishing the resources they took from nature.
Get out. Fuck out of here.
Idiot!
You look as if you clean up good.
Didn't you kill a rabbit earlier?
So right around here, the first thing I'm thinking is this woman has some superpowers. Or maybe her people are like super strong or something. Because in every situation where she's fighting dudes, and it's always dudes, she's able to overthrow them so easily. The one situation where she's put to fight a woman that she doesn't have any issues with, she refuses to. And that's because that woman's also a slave. I get it. She's like a gladiator. They got a little bit of that going on. But I'll get back to that in a second. Anyway, the albino woman, Annisia, whatever her name is, like, let's just call her Cotton Tip, decides to fight her.
Tribe are you from, Red Woman?
I have no tribe.
Where is your home?
This forest.
Liar. No one can survive the Harkanian forest, everyone knows that.
One of those situations, it is known. We'll get back to why that keeps being mentioned as well in the movie, but Cotton Tip obviously has some screws loose up there, like losing her shit and talking to herself. Sonja calls out the obvious, the both of them start brawling, and this gets the attention of Dragan.
What's going on here?
So this guy's certifiably crazy, and he's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna put this to waste. This is fun. And then this part is kind of heart-shattering to me, because my favorite character, the horse Vihor, you know, the horse she told to stay recognizes that she's in trouble and heads towards her. She's worried for him and knows he's gonna get captured. I was actually worried he was gonna get killed. And she's like, no! He didn't say like she told him to, because of course he didn't. The whole movie, dude, I was like stressed out, because I was like, if they do anything to this freaking horse, man. But thank goodness they don't. I mean, they do, but he doesn't die.
Stay down.
Don't know why Rafiki from The Lion King is in this movie. And it's never explained what this is, why these people that look like mandrills exist, or who or what they are. It doesn't matter. So Sonja is up here looking like the effigy of Christ, and the Emperor starts questioning her because she has a map of the Harcanian forest. Ow. The Emperor is thinking, must have some knowledge or something about what I'm looking for. And then we see how wild she is, because of course all redheads must be wild, barbaric animals, apparently. Whatever, but it's okay. And here's the thing I don't understand. She is super powerful. Once again, she's able to break out of her restraints and almost kill the Emperor.
No, I'm fine. I like this one. Very, very feisty, eh?
So he tells Cotton Tip, his concubine, that Sonja's blood is not to be spilled, and she's gonna join the Damnati. Very funny. That's the name for the people who are basically slaves or gladiators, or whatever you want to call them. Damnati. Real clever, creative.
Sonja! Run to the forest. Take the children and run. Go!
So we keep getting these flashbacks of stuff happening to her, like her mother being killed, and then there's this weird flashback where she's holding this little boy's hand, or child's hand, then it ends up slipping away, which is a really weird way to shoot this particular scene because it looks like they weren't even hanging on to each other in the first place. The hand just looks like it was barely there, and they just filmed two people's hands and said, okay, just let go and have your hands and fingers like poetically brush against each other, and yeah, that's believable. So Sonja's like, oh no, you're gone. Oh well, gotta go. Not my fault you slipped. And the little boy's name was Dragaloon. I have no idea why I thought for most of the movie that it was going to be a little girl. But anyway, Sonja's having these flashbacks, and then she's brought to this place, and then she sees her horse as they're ushering her away. Vihor. Oh no, there he is. She recognizes him, and she's like, no, my horse! And this makes her go into a frenzy. And whereas she didn't have the strength only moments ago, seeing her horse gives her the capability to unrestrain herself from two armed guards. Right after she sees the horse being whipped, and she's like, no, how could you? Boom! Fuck you guys! Nobody puts their hands on my horse but me! And to the person who's about to whip the horse, she beats the shit out of him. Scene is crazy to me because she wraps the chain around him, and before, like, you can see how badly choreographed this is. Even though I was watching this on double speed, this scene looked very awkward to me because look at what happens. This is not how physics works. The chain, before it fully wraps around his neck, the man gets in position to throw himself back. Look at his face. He's like, okay, wait, now I hear the chains. Now I gotta get in position to throw myself backwards. And before she pulls him, you can notice she doesn't pull him yet. And he's already tossing himself backwards before she pulls him. I'll show you again in slow motion. Chain wraps. It doesn't even fully wrap around him, like fully. That's when it wraps around. But you see, he starts pushing himself back. She hasn't pulled yet. Pushes himself back, launches himself backwards, then she pulls. You see what I mean? Pull. 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 Except she's not pulling because he already is pushing himself back before she starts pulling. That's really badly choreographed. And if people are editing, you would think that they would be looking through this in slow motion so it can be obvious to them and so that they can fix this in post. And after dealing with, I'm sure, a lot of different people, nobody knows how to defend themselves against a woman who is going apeshit. And it takes these armed guards, like finally getting up off their asses after being knocked down on their asses by this woman to throw her into the cage. And it's very heartbreaking because I can relate to having your animal there and you being unable to help them, but her strength is just crazy, which is making me further curious as to what the hell she's supposed to be. So that's the one thing that we learn about her, and then she wakes up in the pit. The other Damnati tell her, hey, you need to calm down. We're all slaves here. You need to get used to it. They say, we're gonna have to fight things they tell us to fight, or maybe each other. Then we get this Thanos-looking guy who basically is a leader, and he has a romantic relationship. Not with that thing. Not with the shark-looking woman with teeth that we never get explained as to why they look the way they do.
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
So we've got the romance of the leader guy and the village flirt.
Would you tell me what it is you see in him when it's far better right before you?
I prefer an uncut gem. rather than a polished jewel with no personality.
Oh my lord, how profound. Meanwhile, we get more of the Emperor thirsting for even more knowledge, some exposition from his scholar, and he's saying that the Harkonians, when they were seized upon, they fled into the forest with half of this book with them. And the fact that he doesn't have the other half of the book, that is a problem. He's living his life based on only what he has deciphered. Apparently, he's the only person that can decipher the code in the book. And in the prophecy, which he calls it, it's talking about the child who holds knowledge from within, and that person shall hold the world in his hands. And he says it's a prophecy about him because he's an ultimate narcissist where everything's about him. And he's changing the world and making cities and giving people jobs and all that stuff, even though he's sending out people there to kill and enslave people. So it's not the same. Which makes me wonder also, if he was able to achieve all of this with the knowledge from this book, why didn't Sonja's people have that same knowledge implemented in their little shire? You would think that they would be a people very prolific, in tandem with nature, but also smart enough and responsible enough to know that things exist outside of their little poorly guarded walls. And from what I can see, unless Sonja is misremembering this, these doors don't even look guarded. First of all, they have nobody, I mean, they have a ladder on the side over there somewhere, like going up, but nobody's guarding the walls. And these doors don't look very sturdy at all, because you can see also that the locking mechanism for the door is missing, which I find very weird. And then you also have that little thing underneath that things can crawl under. I don't know, it just looks like a very poorly designed door. And there you can see the locks are not there. Then the barbarians break through and all of a sudden there are the locks, which are still poorly designed, which is, how? Okay, maybe these people deserve to get wiped out, because what were you even doing? What is this? You have the Book of Knowledge, but yet you're stupider than the average person. And nobody heard this horde of people on horseback careening towards the village. Nobody heard them. Nobody. They're all on horseback. How do you not hear this? Anyway, now here we are. I guess this book wasn't that important to them. Sonja is also proven to be very wild, and she can climb better than all of them. And apparently she's also stronger than all of these people. Look, she's the only one who made it to the top, and she's fighting all these guys. Oh no. We also learned that the king apparently is asexual or something, because Annisia likes him and she also wants to be his empress, and he's like, I don't like that puss stuff. Nope. He won't even touch her. She asks why they've never shared a bed, and I mean, understandably, wouldn't you? Unless she stinks really badly or something. I mean, that would be a greater way to get her loyalty amping up into the thousands if you mate with her. But with all that knowledge, she has no idea how women work. Now, because this is the guy Klaus from Umbrella Academy, I'm guessing that he swings on the side of not sinking into a flesh pocket, probably. Or he's just so hell-bent on knowledge and control that he's not interested in flesh, but just purely in knowledge, which makes him kind of stupid, because he should know that to rule people, you have to appease to their flesh as well. Look at this woman. She's ready to do anything for you. Give her a freaking butter biscuit or something to hang on to and to look forward to. What in the world? Plus, he's making this woman drink all these potions to help with the voices. So again, everyone keeps asking Sonja throughout the movie, what is your tribe? Only for her to say,
I have no tribe.
Osen the Untouched, who apparently likes touching everyone and everything. His title means he hasn't been touched by a blade, forms a friendship with her and says, well, if you're the first one to touch me, you can win the prize. And the prize, looky, is me.
Oh my. Oh my.
In the gladiator ring, which is totally not Spartacus, she's forced to fight one of her fellow captives. And she refuses to. Oh, by the way, Cotton Tip here used to be a damn natty. She used to be a gladiator slave as well. Now she's free, sorta, kinda. What is that guy's neck? Jesus. Looks like there's another freaking cabeza growing under there.
By the goddess, I will not fight you. Sonja, I will not fight her for your entertainment. But I will fight you! Or are you a coward?
Bro was like, bitch, did you skip your meds today? Do you forget who you... Oh, are we doing that? Oh, we're doing this. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. Reminds me of that Walking Dead scene. This is terrible. He's like, oh, you're not gonna fight her. Okay, whatever. He doesn't kill her. He kills the other woman on purpose. Sonja's like, shit, I messed up. I'm sorry. Reload. I feel bad for Thanos because his woman's out there and he can't even do anything. I don't know. This is like, I guess it's Crixus. This... They take a lot of inspiration from Spartacus, or maybe Spartacus took inspiration from this. I don't know. And that's a show that I'm watching right now because the Asher show is coming out. So my husband forced me to sit down and watch Spartacus, which I've always wanted to watch, by the way. And that show is balls deep awesome. That sounds really, really horrible, but it's a really good thing.
At last, the gods remove cock from fucking ass.
I love that show. Funny thing, as we see here, just like Spartacus, don't really want to spoil too much, but she's able to completely neutralize armed guards. They're not even trying. They're just like allowing themselves to be slaughtered. You'd think these men that were trained in... They're trained in combat. As far as we know, she's not. I don't really understand. We'll get to that later. She's singing a sad song for Petra, and as she's singing, this elf-looking dude with blonde hair that looks like Dollar Tree Legolas from Lord of the Rings is one of her people, Harkanian as well. And he must be protected because apparently he and everybody else can't protect themselves as much as she can. The Emperor makes mind control from this power of the animals that he has had captured. And you're probably wondering why he doesn't do this for humans. Well, apparently he did try, but you know, he one step ahead of you. They failed. Every single one of the humans died. It just doesn't work for them. We don't know why, it just doesn't. As this thing is skewering everybody, albeit very slowly, for everyone else's entertainment, Red Sonja figures out very quickly that it's being mind controlled by the device in between its shoulder bladers. Oh, so simple. All I gotta do is go on this thing and remove the mind control. And somehow the Cyclops doesn't kill her. She does the stupid Owen Grady thing with the raptors where she holds up her hands and says, "Stand there."
Hey, what did I just say?
The more you watch it, the stupider it gets, especially because they kept on rinsing and repeating and reusing it over and over again, and nothing ever happened to him, and nothing ever came of the raptors being volatile the way they usually are. Was really ridiculous. This is not how to train your fucking raptor anyway. So she's like, stand there, I see you. He's like, I know you see me. I see me too, bitch. I only got one eye, but I see more than you, fucker. She's apparently able to talk to him like she can talk to everyone else. She says, hey, your enemy is over there. And she points to where the Emperor is, and he sees the Emperor. He's like, oh yeah, you're correct. Yeah, you stuck something up my ass before. You thought I don't remember that? How dare you? I may only got one eye hole, but I got two assholes, and you stuck everything you could up both of them. I'm coming for you assholes. So, of course, plot convenience thing. You could tell by the way he's walking, they definitely stuck something up where the sun don't shine. Look how he's walking so stiff. That's how someone walks when they're trying to hole it in. Poor thing. He can barely move. That poor man. I don't know what they did to him, but he's never going to be the same. Anyway, the Cyclops starts killing them all. But the Emperor is still alive. Rafiki comes to save him. Red Sonja's like, you're free now, guys. Go. And so is Osen. He's okay because he was hanging on over the cliff. Sonja can't go with them because she has to go save her horse. Oh my god, baby. My boyfriend. So she and Vihorder are safe, and she decides that she can just obliterate everything that the Emperor went to do, because just by putting a wrench in the gears, quite literally, because that's all it takes. Wonderful. How convenient. I don't know how she and Vihorder were able to get out of there, but the lab and everything surrounding the area blows to smithereens, and she's somehow safe. The Emperor is very sad because all of his work was in this, and the main scholar is killed as a result. The Emperor tells Cotton-Tip that if she brings the head of Red Sonja, Cotton-Tip will be Empress. Meanwhile, the other slaves, or ex-gladiators, or whatever the hell they're supposed to be, are instructed by Sonja to wait for her at dawn so she'll catch up to them. Which of course she does, because she had no problem getting out of there whatsoever because she's super powerful. They're on their way to their lands, but because now she knows she's not alone, her people are there because the blonde-haired guy is proof of this, and he said so. She learns that Osen is actually a prince. This is revealed later.
Only my kingdom lies to the south. Dragan left it in ruins, destroyed my cities, killed my people, and enslaved its prince. But that prince is free now, thanks to you.
You're a prince? Oh my god, I should have slept with you sooner. So he goes to get his army, and of course he tells her, you're quite the woman. And she leans in to kiss him. Oops, psych. She cuts him with her blade. Freaking cheater. And she very gently lets him know that now you are no longer untouched by a blade. Goodbye. He rides away on his Palomino back to his cities. The other Harkonian guy catches up with Sonja and tells her that Hesper, the old tutor, is still alive. Female Rafiki lets him know that a scout is after them, so that means that the Emperor is only a day away and he's following them. So Sonja can't go back to her people. She tells a Harkonian guy to go and warn her people and prepare just in case. And she responsibly says she can't ask everyone to continue fighting with her because these people are after her, but they're free to do whatever they want. And they're like, no, we'll fight with you. Is what else are they gonna do? And they don't trust her to handle this by herself, so I don't really blame them. Red Sonja goes back with the head of the scout to show the Emperor that if he keeps sending scouts, there's gonna be a problem. And he says, oh, we're playing that game? Oh, I love games. All right, okay, since you were nice enough to gift me with something, I have one for you too. There you go. Voila. I wonder if my gift's better than yours. And it's revealed to be the head of the blonde Harkonian that Sonja sent to her people to warn them, because of course, he can't fight at all. For no reason. But she's staying watch, and she's like, who are these people whispering through the woods? You can tell that they're not regular soldiers. And this dude sneaks up on her, is like, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you just don't kill my friends. She sees Hesper the tutor, everyone meets up with each other, they're like, oh, Sookie, we remember you, remember me, yay. And it's revealed that they have the other half of the book, of course. And not only that, the little boy that Sonja had let go of accidentally, that's the Emperor now. His name was Dragaloon, and now his name is Dragan. He felt abandoned, so I guess now he's mad. That's how he built his brilliance while he was in slavery, hid in the book. The Emperor starts firing the forest. None of them hit anyone, by the way. Like, with all of this happening, you would think, right? Fight ensues, some people die. Cotton Tip fights Red Sonja, and she says, oh, we meet again, look at that. But she's a way better fighter, and she mortally stabs Sonja. Sonja can take down 4 armed guards that are experienced with fighting more so than the average slave, but she can't take down one woman that she was able to easily take down before.
Girl, really?
But of course, as Sonja is dying, she's about to have her head cut off, Beholder comes and saves the day. I like how the fire's on these trees, but it's not spreading whatsoever. Her horse is able to pick her up, and she says, oh no, you're right, I must go. With her last breath, she hangs on, and he carries her back to her home in front of the goddess thing, where the goddess takes the form of her mother and says, your destiny was never about fighting your people. Thanks, Mom. But you must avenge me and save the world and blah, blah, blah. Basically like what Awa did with Navi. She says, be reborn as what you can be. Somehow the goddess is able to carry her and place her in the bloody water. And yeah, her mortally bad wound is healed. But the Emperor captured all of her friends, who together were not able to fight what's left of the Emperor's army that all got killed off for some stupid reason. But as he's about to kill the tutor woman, guess who comes barreling out of the trees? Right after the Emperor finds out the tutor woman has the other half of the book. Now, again, I'm not really sure why this is all the Emperor has left in terms of security and his army. Did the Cyclops do all of that? Nobody was able to put it down. They had the knowledge to capture this thing, but not a way to neutralize it if it goes on a rampage or they lose control. And now where is the Cyclops? Yeah, all hell is breaking loose. Osin's armies are there with Sonja as well to help. Annisia stabs the Emperor because he messed up and made it apparent that he can hear the voices in her head because he put them there. How? I don't know. The potions do it. And he never loved her or whatever. That's why he knows what the voices are saying, which is really stupid because why would you accept that? Like, you couldn't lie. You're alone with this woman. You know she's a great fighter. You know she's unstable, and you couldn't make up a lie and tell her you love her. Anyway, the Emperor ends up killing her as well, and he is brought to the altar of his people's gods, because remember, he's Harkonian too, and he's all like, this was supposed to be my weapon, my knowledge, so on the nose and two-dimensional. But this is actually pretty wholesome because Red Sonja gives him a nice little lecture about it was never meant to be a weapon. You were enslaved, and then you enslaved a whole bunch of other people. You devoured resources with no limit, and you just replaced the tyrant that took away your family and our people with you being the tyrant. She said maybe if I'd held onto your hand a little bit tighter, maybe both of our lives would have been different. And as he's dying, he then says, please don't let go of my hand now. Don't let go again. And she says that she won't. And it's nice enough that she tells everyone else after he dies, and she sits with him passing on. He should be buried as a Harkonian, even though he did all those awful things. And then she decides to leave. I'm like, where the frick are you going? Well, you know, I have always tried to find my people. I'm leaving now, guys, because I found you. I know you're okay, so I'm gonna leave and see the rest of the world. And Osin, you're gonna be the leader because, you know, you're a just person. Ew. Then she's at some Viking area. Nothing's happening the way you think it is. I don't know why I just did that. Brain is short-circuiting. It's near the end of the movie. But yeah, they're having fun. There you go. That's why she made the face. With no context whatsoever, this looks really bad. But anyway, she's in this Viking area. Then Osin throws open the doors, boom! She removes her blindfold, throws off his cowl, and he says, all cringe light in slow motion, Sonja, we need you. I got you, Osen. Stabs the apple and slow motion, opens eyes, slow motion, gets up, slow motion, walks away, slow motion, cowl trailing, slow motion, and that part was so freaking cringe. Everyone was just watching, because, you know, that's how badass she is. And that was basically the movie, and that's the end of the movie. So having never known anything about this character or the lore at all, the only way I was able to accept what I was seeing with her being able to fight, having not learned anything about fighting at all, we've not seen her from she was an orphan to her adult age, knowing how to fight or learning how to fight against other people. The only way I can kind of wrap my mind around this as the headcanon, which I was alluding to near the beginning of the video, is that Harkonians, her people, are essentially Tolkien elves. On TolkienGateway.net, it says in addition to creation and craftsmanship, elves had great skill with healing and medicine, though such things came naturally to them. Those elves who healed often chose not to fight, except at great need, in order to preserve their skill, for Eldar deemed that the dealing of death diminished the power of healing. That's an excerpt. While ordinary for an elf, it might have felt magical to someone healed by them who did not understand how they were using their Fae or spirit. Glorfindel helped heal Frodo without seeming to do more than search the wound with his fingers. In another section of the Tolkien Gateway under elves, it says that powerful elves seem to have control over nature and the elements, which would explain why Sonja was able to talk to the Cyclops and her horse and other creatures. Their clothes seem to shine with their own light, their blades seem to never lose their sharpness. Less educated folks could not explain effects, so they call them magic. Now, Sonja's clothes don't shine with magic, but you know how we're like looking at her and how she looks so at ease? Anyone could easily think, oh, this woman is an elf. She's living in the forest by herself with her horse. Bees don't sting her, apparently. They don't even look real when she's with them. Nobody bothers her. Everything is perfect. Her hair is always perfect. She always looks great. Look at all the shining off of her skin. She's naturally powerful. She has to be an elf. It would be easy for them to come to that conclusion or assumption, and I wouldn't be able to blame them. They also have black, brown, blonde, red, and silver hair, which, you know, not much of anything, but so do humans. Their weaponry is typically swords and bows, which we see Sonja using throughout the movie. They have near immortality. Here's the thing that's also most interesting. Now, I don't think Sonja, I don't know anything about Red Sonja, but she's what, a Marvel character? I don't know what she's based on, but I'm thinking she's based on Tolkien elves or something, because it also says here, their lives were counted to begin at conception rather than birth, and though their minds sharpened much earlier in life than in the race of men, their bodies grew most slowly. They were considered fully grown at about a century. They married usually once in their lives, their children often few and far between. Now this could be the same for Sonja. She's lived in the forest for a while, but the only other people we see after this are her own people. No humans that we can speak of that also knew her. Like, I don't really know the timeline, but the only other people we see that still look the same age are people that are Harkonian. And even Hespero looks pretty much the same. It also goes on to saying that their most distinguishing characteristic from the mortal races was the fact that they were invulnerable to age or disease. She never gets sick. Sonja. Anyway, unless they were killed by a sword or sorrow, they would live to the end of the world. Unlike men whose fear or spirits left Arda when their bodies died, elves here were bound to Arda until its ending. If an elf's body died, its spirit would be summoned to the halls of Mandos, where the Valar could re-embody the elf in a Thra, I don't know what that is, that was identical to the elf's previous Thra. What are these freaking words? Anyway, however, if an elf committed evil acts during their lifetime and refused to repent, the Valar could delay the elf's re-embodiment, impose conditions on it, or refuse it altogether. What this is basically saying is that elves can be reincarnated by the Valar if they're willing and deemed worthy. Which would explain why Sonja, when brought to the goddess, even though she had a very mortal wound, was deemed worthy. The goddess chose her, healed her, and reincarnated her, except that they reincarnated her in her own body, except that she was kind of different, because when she came back, her hair was blood red, which was a much deeper more red than it had been before. And now she's using bow and arrows where she got from God knows where. Now I know there's different types of elves and stuff, but from what the fandom usually says, elves being able to live a lot longer usually have centuries of combat experience that surpass most humans. Sonja didn't really seem to have that, but we also know that elves apparently can perform feats that most humans wouldn't be able to on average because elves use their spiritual power, so they seem a lot stronger, and they have superior reflexes, making it difficult to land a hit on them. When you consider how Sonja is able to fight, overthrowing human men that seem to have more combat experience than she does, you think about her being one with nature and being super powerful and able to climb and perform feats more easily than regular humans that have more experience than she does, you would think it makes all the sense in the world if you assume that this woman is a fucking Tolkien elf, because otherwise the story makes no sense. Half of the time I almost expected to see elf ears when her hair is pulled back. So that's why I was able to kind of sort of enjoy the movie with that in mind, because I absolutely love the demonstrative prowess of Tolkien elves. And you look at this guy, look at his ears, look at his aesthetics, he looks like one of the elves. Like, come on, you cannot tell me this guy is pure blonde with the deepest blue eyes you've ever seen, and this is not some kind of elven descendant. And we know this world is full of magic and other types of magical creatures like cyclops and whatnot, so it would make sense that elves exist in this. I would believe that Sonja is either an elf or a descendant of an elf. That being said, the movie was still poorly executed because I feel like we didn't get enough backstory for Sonja or time enough to spend with the character to warrant caring about her or her people. And she has this motivation for so long, crying because she doesn't see her people, she thinks she's the last one, and near the end of the movie, she's like, oh, I'm gonna leave now that I know you guys exist. Not even thinking that she should be there for her people to help them rebuild and make sure they're all stable before she heads off on her adventures, which is kind of selfish. It's not like she's going to save other people. She's going there because she's like, I want to see more of the world. Your whole motivation, your entire life has been you finding your people and not wanting to be alone. And now you're making us believe as the audience, or trying to at least, making us believe as the audience that near the end or at the end of the movie, she's like, now that I found you, I'm good. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go explore. Like, you can't do all those things and still be part of your people. That's very weird. And she goes the farthest away that she can. Then what was your motivation for wanting to find them? It couldn't have been because you were alone. And it just makes all of that angst that we saw throughout the movie feel unwarranted because clearly they didn't give us enough of a payoff on that. To me, that's no different than The Land Before Time at the end of the first movie when Littlefoot finally sees the Great Valley, and his mother's spirit reveals to him that the Great Valley was real all along and all his family is there. It would be no different than Littlefoot saying, now that I found the Great Valley, which is something that I've wanted, was my whole motivation, my mother is the one who also put that in me, I'm gonna leave now, guys, and go exploring to other worlds where it's not safe, where I can't find peace, and help you guys build a life here. And they're like, Littlefoot, but I thought we were friends. We all wanted this. And then Ducky's all upset, and she's like, Littlefoot, you can't go out there. This is the Great Valley. Yup. Sharp Teeth will get you out there. And Littlefoot's like, no, guys, you don't understand. Now that you guys know the Great Valley is real, that's more of a reason for me to leave, because there's so many other places to look for, see? And I imagine that would leave people a tad bit confused.
Okay, couldn't you have a big dick the other way? Well, yeah, I could. Like, yeah, I could have a big dick hypothetically in any variety of scenarios, but then it wouldn't really be a horse dick. Well, you could be a human with a horse dick, yes, but then I wouldn't have that powerful stallion energy using.
So there are many different reviews about this, and the one thing I'll say that I agree with is that this movie was very shallow and very forgettable. I know I mentioned that already, but if I were to explain what didn't work for this and why it was shallow, it's because it had very weak character development, and the stakes weren't that high, to be honest. And I'll explain why. This whole thing feels and trods and paces itself like it's a storyboard and not a fully fleshed out movie, or an idea for a show. One of the problems for me is the way that the movie starts out. We have these people with all these kids, right? And our main thing is, oh no, the barbarians come, and all hell breaks loose. Kids are running. Red Sonja is told to take these orphans into the forest by her mother. That's how the story begins. The film tells us through Red Sonja that she survived and the others perished, but never shows or explored what makes Sonja herself so freaking special that every other orphan, aside from her, died? Did she mismanage them? Was she not watching them? We're told that the Harcanian forest is extremely dangerous. We're never shown exactly why, though. Why is it dangerous? Because all we see in the first part of the movie is it looking peaceful and sweet, and you would think that the Emperor would have sent scouts there by now to show what makes it so dangerous. Is it a park that they went to? Is it because, like, Awa from Pandora, the Avatar movie, that because he's humans, we're doing a really bad job at protecting the land, that Awa sent these animals to help them? Now the animals are like, get out of our land, and they're all helping the Na'vi. Is it one of those situations, and the Emperor basically functions as the humans? As I said, we never know, because everything that we've seen from Sonja's point of view is peaceful, and we only ever see it from her point of view. We're told that the Harcanian forest is extremely dangerous and malevolent, but yet we're never showcased as to why. We get a few scorpion creatures here and there, and they're made to look like victims when they're being captured. So that doesn't really help. We don't see the orphans die. We don't even get flashbacks of them dying off and her crying or holding them. So we never get to see what the loss means to Sonja. And that missing connective tissue kind of leaves her origin emotionally unanchored. We have no reason to feel bad for her, feeling bad for everybody else, because we don't see it portrayed very well. As a matter of fact, we don't see it portrayed at all. Where'd her horse come from? Where'd she get the horse? We know she has a relationship with the horse. We don't know where he ever freaking comes from. Why are they so weird with each other? We never get anything from that. We don't know why they're so close. So without understanding her survival, how she survived, seeing any of that, even through a montage, you didn't even give us that. All of her motivations feel very light, which I also touched on before with the end when she's like, oh, I found my people, and then she just leaves them. Everything else is just thrown in for exposition's sake. So yes, it feels very generic, and it comes across as a very flimsy story, which as a result makes it forgettable and annoyingly surface level. And the thing is, if you're trying to build empathy for a character or have us relate to her, it's a bit hard to do that when you don't set the stage for it. Also, Dragan is portrayed as clever. He understands technology, strategy, manipulation, or so the film would have us think. But his goals are very shallow. He wants the other half of this book and wants to use tech to reshape the world, which he already is doing. But the other question is,
why? Why?
What exactly is his personal philosophy behind that? Smart villain usually has a belief system, you know, I'll protect the world by controlling it, chaos is freedom, whatever. Dragan doesn't seem to really have a foundational one. He just likes chasing power for power's sake, and that makes him kind of one-dimensional. And that mismatch, smart man and dumb motivation, makes him feel hollow. And the other part of it is in this part of the movie, when he's telling his scholar guy or the main researcher about the book that only he can decipher, and this is literally his reasoning.
Do you know what it says?
No, I cannot read it. Only you have deciphered the code.
It says, the child who holds the knowledge within shall hold the world in their hand.
And if he's the only one that can decipher it, how does he know that's what it actually says? No one thinks to question it. And I guess they can't because, you know, tyranny and all of that. But even as a smart person, you would think that you would have other people, try to look for other people to make sure that what you were deciphering is actually what you're deciphering, so you can get the correct information to push you further. But he never does this.
The prophecy. Do you see? It's a prophecy about me. I am that child, and I unlocked the secrets and changed the world. And in the missing pages of this will be knowledge that even I can't imagine, Crudelis. New ideas, new machines, new worlds.
So he's saying all of this. He wants more ideas, more of that. Okay, I can understand that. But him going the whole prophecy angle when in the last breath he denied another king and did the whole hand-wavy dismissal of that king's faith by saying that his brain and his knowledge and science basically overshadowed the gods, but yet you're here talking about prophecies. Bro was talking about how he was abandoned, but a more logical arc would have been him trying to rebuild or find his people to heal that wound. Instead, the entire movie, just seems to bypass that whole emotional logic and is like, oh, the boy was abandoned? He's now a sociopath and wants tech dominance for some reason. And then for the entirety of the movie, he grows up with the tech and the power and ambition. We never know why exactly he wants to change the world. What is the motivation for him wanting to do that? What is the motivation for why he drugged this woman? And and made her hear voices. Why? What's the purpose? Again, back to the tech and all of that. Is he trying to prevent anyone else from feeling powerless like he did? No, that doesn't show the case because he enslaved a lot of people like he was. Is he evil for evil's sake? I mean, the guy is presented as intelligent, but that's not in the very least believable because there's no grounding in why he thinks the way he does. And there's no logic also. He has one lab with all of his important things and the most important thing to him, which is the orb. You'd think that he'd have labs stationed out throughout everywhere because if he's a truly intelligent character, he wouldn't put all his eggs in one basket. Most guys who are businessmen or tech geniuses or whatever always make sure they have a failsafe or a backup, and he had none of that. Also, again, back to Sonja wanting to find her people, there is no emotional payoff from her when she finally finds these people. When she's talking to the blonde-haired guy, she doesn't have the emotional resonance that you would think a person like this would have when they realize they're not alone. And then she just smiles at them like she's a stranger who's like, oh, I don't want to deal with these people. The orphans are never brought up again. And you would think her having to survive with them in the forest, she would at least mention their names or you see some, nope. She feels like a robot. In her motivations, in her demonstration of her personality, it just doesn't feel real. There's something missing. It's like someone's wearing the skin of a story that they shot and they're trying to make people think that they're the real thing. Meanwhile, the meat and the bones and everything else is somewhere else buried. Either that or they made this movie as a tax write-off. I would have liked more meat on the bones of this story. And if it weren't for me reviewing this, I would have just quickly got up and forgotten about it. Lickety-split. Now, I didn't hate it. I don't even think it was good enough to warrant that emotion. It was just whatever. Also, the scorpion that we see them trying to control and we see them capturing and all of that, we never get to see it. Nothing. We don't see anything happen to it. I was expecting it to come out at some point the way they kept focusing on it every now and then. Nope, nothing ever happened with that. Crying out loud, this woman who's supposed to be a supporting side character feels like she has more emotional depth and character growth or development, I should say, more than the actual main character Red Sonja does. But that's my honest review for Red Sonja. This movie was wild. And watching it 2.5 speed made it bearable. I think if I had to watch it in normal speed, I would have lost my shit, just being honest. The horse made it better because I like the horse. Fantasy creatures, and I can guarantee you in a few weeks' time, if you ask me what this show was about, I'm gonna say it was about a redheaded girl and her horse, and that was it. Like, there's nothing. Motivation. Why? I don't know. The motivation we were told that was important to her turned out not to be that important. So I don't even know. Why should I root for this character? No idea. Not saying that there's not movies that can exist like that, because Alice from Resident Evil, I was little when I saw this, but to me, she was way more likable, and these movies were way better. She had the T-virus in her, and we know that the, oh my god, what's it called again? Umbrella Academy? No, Umbrella Corporation? Whatever, Umbrella something. We know the company that made her. She doesn't like them. She knows they're evil, and she's fighting for humanity. That's basically, I know what the motivation for her is, I think. She has superhuman strength, by the way, because of the whole T-virus thing. And from what I remember, she's like an amped up version of those zombie things, but she looks normal. So it made sense that she was able to beat the shit out of people. She was gorgeous and she knew how to fight. And she's like, I'm not taking anybody's shit. I'm not gonna be their lapdog. To me, she's way more likable. She's gorgeous. And her strength made sense. And we can root for her because we see the evil of the corporation and how it's handled things and treated humanity. And she says no more. She's a hero standing up to this. I guess Red Sonja is supposed to be another version of that or something, except there's no explanation to why she's so powerful. Well, whatever. Also, I don't think the Emperor was rightly cast for this role. Like, Klaus from Umbrella Academy is the last person I'd expect to be in a role like this, but even saying so, I don't think it would have mattered much if they had changed it to someone else. This feels like a higher tier school project based on some random fantasy, pick a piece of paper from out of the box kind of project where the teacher tells you, okay, I want you to make a fantasy story about a red-haired woman who tries to find her people, and then she has to take down the Emperor. And there's like 18 people working on the same thing, and this is like the third group that comes up and showcases this at their project. And that's basically it. And then they get an A for effort. That's what this movie feels like. I don't even think it's worth being on streaming. This is something I would see on like the back edges of YouTube for free. You know those movies that people put in playlists, and they're all these like old Christian movies or movies from the 80s that nobody watches, so YouTube just puts them up for free or doesn't even care to copyright them because they're so bad. I feel like this is the kind of movie that would belong in that Clarence aisle of YouTube. That being said, it had some wholesome vibes in there that would have been great if it had been more properly developed. And of course, a horse is a horse, of course. V-Horde is the main guy, and she and her horse can be private again, I guess. It's hard to believe this was built from a Marvel character. That just goes to show you, not everything... Well, I mean, that's not saying much nowadays anyway. Anyways, what did you guys think of Watch Red Sonja? Again, I don't know of the old version, so keep that in mind. Do you think my headcanon is correct? And she's part elf, or basically this world's version of an elven person? And if not, how do you explain her physical prowess and ability to take down people with no fighting experience shown whatsoever, living in the forest by herself away from everyone and everything?